We're back from break, and Finn Balor is being stretchered out, and what is this? Oh my god, Damian Priest is coming after them. He's taking out Carlito. He's taking out JD McDonough. He has had it with Finn Balor and his shenanigans. He will not be denied. He has sent him right into the ring, and the street fight continues. And ladies and gentlemen, you have not lived until a 6'5" Puerto Rican man has tossed you around while you're strapped to a stretcher, completely helpless and absolutely at the mercy of this massive, manly 6'5" Puerto Rican man. I will be providing no further context. You're welcome to just let that marinate inside your head. Like Snoop's upside your head, Snoop's upside your head. I'm so goddamn white, it's barely even right. I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Raw from the SAP Center in San Jose, California. So yeah, 17,562 seat capacity, and they had about 13,315 fans. Now, this is a return to normalcy. It's no longer the Raw debut on Netflix, and I actually kind of like the fact they don't have a set run time, because this was just over 2.5 hours. Even if a couple things seem to feel a bit stretched out, and really, to be perfectly honest, they could have added a little bit more time to one match. I'll get to that. But I do want to quickly say, before Punk talks about it, that thoughts and every bit of positivity are towards those affected by the LA fires. Absolutely heartbreaking. I hope the firefighters get home safely to their families. I hope everybody can get a chance to rebuild, and let's do what we can to support these people who, through no faults of their own, have likely lost many things, if not everything. So the drone shot of the SAP Center, is right there. And apparently the Fortnite advertisement was taken off of the goddamn ring mat. That's probably good. Fortnite fucking sucks. So anyway, recaps of the debut on Netflix. And Punk comes out to a pop. We get the drone stuff. I love the drone stuff. Some of it looks a little bit wonky, but most of it looks pretty goddamn cool. And he acknowledges the firefighters from all over, from Canada, from Mexico, and everything. People coming together because the incoming administration sure as fuck won't care about any of the citizens that aren't rich white people. So that being said, he talks about beating Rollins and talks about what's next and his injuries, taking him out of Mania. And there's an imaginary sign. There's something that he can't see, but there is something that he also can see. Somebody claims they can't be seen, but he does see him. Punk versus Cena at some point, I'm all for it. Not at Mania. I don't think you need that for Mania, but I think you need that for a SummerSlam potentially. But Rollins' music hits, and Punk is saying, why can't it be Rhea Ripley interrupting me? Trust me, we all wish that Rhea Ripley would... Never mind, let's just move on from that. Let's absolutely move on. And Rollins said, I'm a man of my word. I'm here. If I wasn't a man of my word, if I didn't show up when times got tough, I'd be you. And then Punk said, but I'd still be the winner, right? And this is good. If it was more good stuff, it further proves this feud is not over. Rollins basically is in the Rumble too, because Punk's in the Rumble, Rollins is in the Rumble, Drew shows up to basically target both of them, and there's lots of yelling and loud noises, and it all goes back to Roman, and that Drew's also in the Rumble. So they're loading this shit up already. That's some top tier people. You got Cena, Punk, Rollins, Drew, and you got Roman in the Rumble. That's 5 right there. It's probably going to be Cena that wins it, but nevertheless. Again, Cena winning would actually, if this wasn't just going to be his final year, if they just had him make sporadic appearances over the next 5 years, which obviously he wouldn't do, I'd be against it. But you know what? To be quite honest, really, that the youngest guy they got there is Rollins. Roman's very part-time. He doesn't need to win it. Cena would win the Rumble in 3 different decades, which nobody has ever done, because nobody's been able to have this level of, longevity as far as the Rumble, goes. Austin won in 2 different decades, but he also had a shorter window. So he had a big drawing window, don't get me wrong. But anyway, everybody's doing what they're doing, and there we go. So that was a bunch of talking. And then Cole eventually said, when Gable was making his entrance to the ring with American made, American made, American made, maybe Gable should have, a little fear. Oh, Michael Cole, I fucking hate you. God, I fucking hate you. The commentary on Raw is really bad. So, the Red Cross plug for the fires. Donate if you can. Help out people if you can, if you're in the affected areas. So, It's the big debut that pretty much everybody saw coming from the moment they showed the vignette about, a month ago or something like that. It's Penta. And you know what? It's a good thing that Penta showed up. I'm just going to call him Penta because he's had so many different names. So, Penta, El Zero Mierdo. I can never say it right. Pentagon Jr. I actually met him at an indie show about almost 6 years ago as of now. You know what? Super nice guy. Really nice guy. It's actually the same thing. You guys might have seen a clip going around of like a little show in Seattle where Phoenix ran in and actually kicked Aubrey Edwards while she was making a count, and the crowd seemed like they were about to rush the ring. I was there. We were not very happy. You don't hurt Aubrey. You do not hurt one of our own. Phoenix looked very surprised that he was getting booed. That being said, Penta has an interesting theme, I'll say that much. He got pyro, and he seems motivated. He's all strutting. He's all doing stuff. Not the Fargo strut, as hilarious as that would be. And Michael Cole said, I have watched a bunch of his matches over the years. I refuse to fucking believe that. There is no way. Now, they cut to a shot of some girls, and one was really crying, and I go, well, okay, she's really a Penta fan. Then I thought for a second, that must be his family, actually. That must be his family, because his family has shown up at AEW events. So I'm like, you know what, good for them. Let's not make fun of the kid. The kid's happy to see her goddamn dad, on a big stage. So anyway, Penta versus Gable. Look, I think the match probably went a little longer than it needed to. I mean, yes, Gable is a good worker, and they got some good spots in, but I feel that, I'm not going to say this hurt Penta. I think it went a little bit longer, though, than needed. But I'm going to say really quickly before I get into the minutia of the match. So, they already had Penta merch up. They got shirts. They're selling the masks. You know who didn't bother to market the masks and everything and was really bad at merchandising? Tony Khan. Because Tony Khan put the wrong goddamn people in charge. And guess what? If Tony Khan had actually marketed the Lucha Bros properly and wasn't just holding on to Phoenix's contract as, he got injured, but, if you're not going to use him and everything and you're just going to be petty, you're just being the same as Vince, just without the head shitting. Yeah, that might be a little bit wrong, but the thing is, if I'm going to knock AEW for bad decisions, if I'm going to knock WWE for bad decisions, I'm going to be fair. And I'm going to be concise with this and basically say that, yeah, Penta deserves this kind of push. Even if he's just going to be in the mid-card to upper mid-card until Phoenix arrives, and then, my God, please put the tag titles on them immediately. Immediately. They need tag team wrestling to be revitalized because you have Ciampa and the Garden Gnome, and you have Pretty Deadly involved in the mix on SmackDown, further proving the tag team wrestling doesn't really fucking matter in WWE. But anyway, so that being said, there was a German suplex on the apron. There were some post shots on the leg so Gable could focus and set up for the ankle lock. There was a sling blade, a dive outside. And then hold number 1 in the ropes, arm bar. And then a destroyer, but I barely know her. And an ankle lock. Eventually, Penta got the arm snap that they called a sacrifice. The Penta driver, which I think was called, it was a made in Japan, but nevertheless, 1, 2, 3. Penta got the victory. Again, a few minutes longer than it probably needed to be, but Penta got a good reaction. And he was there, still in the ring. And then Jackie showed up, and I'm like, oh boy, Penta's second language is English. And actually, his English isn't that bad, and Jackie doesn't really seem to understand much of anything. So, nevertheless, they're in the ring there. Penta ends up taking the mic. It goes a bit long, but he's very happy to be there. He points out his family. That was his family there. And you know what? The kids are happy, and that's great. They get to see their dad on a big stage. Probably making a sizable living. I'm not saying he wasn't paid well in AEW, but he already feels like a bigger deal than he felt in the last year of his TV time in AEW, which was sporadic at best. So Spanish mostly. This is a new era. Well, this is the Penta new era. I don't know if that's going to get off the ground, but good on Penta. I like Penta, and I'm happy for him. Wish Phoenix was there, but whatever. Tony Khan can be a little bitch, hold on to one of his toys and everything, and make other people debate about going there. When Phoenix and Ricky Starks are able to actually go elsewhere, we're going to find out more about, the bad mismanagement there. And I'm not saying WWE is all sunshine, lollipops, and all that. I'm not saying they don't have issues. I'm not saying people won't get lost in the goddamn shuffle. But when they want to make somebody feel like a big deal, they can do it. And the Netflix platform is helping with that. So, in Fighting with the Judgment Day, Dominic tries to apologize to Liv and says she's not mad. Oh, she's mad. Oh, Dominic's going to wake up with a horse head in his goddamn bed. I don't think she's mad at all. We've all been there, Dominic, trust me. When a woman says she is not mad, she absolutely is. I only speak from experience with one of my exes. All of them. Some by my own doing. Okay, all of it by my own doing. Anyway, so the first ad break was, unless I forgot, I think the first ad break wasn't until almost 50 minutes in. I mean, unless I just totally zoned out. But Steiner's in the front row. Sheamus and Kaiser had a hard-hitting match that was what it was. It wasn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Kaiser's strut kind of made me laugh. Sheamus won, and then ended up having a bit of a brief shoving match with LeBron Steiner. Please, Steiner, stop freaking tanning so much. Kathy, my goodness, what outfit can you not pull off? That was not a euphemism. She looks great. It's going to be Seth versus Drew next week. Sammy offers to talk to Seth, and Seth is like, oh, everything's going good. Like, oh, you're going to help Roman win again, or you could just stand on your own and go down the only road you've ever known. Saturday night's main event ad with Hogan as part of the deal. And let me tell you right now, if they decide to have Ventura there, they can't have Hogan there, because I would take Ventura in a goddamn fight over Hogan, because Hogan can't even move. Apparently, the Wyatt Six are on SmackDown. Okay. Are they going to take the tag titles from Gargano and Ciampa? Whatever. Cross is upset at Miz. To be fair, I'm upset both these guys are on my television in 2025, because Miz really shouldn't be wrestling anymore, and Cross, I'm sorry, this stuff's not interesting. He's like if Sean O'Hare was still around after Sean O'Hare died. That's mean. But nevertheless, Sammy ends up knocking Miz. Miz says, I'm still a two-time champion, world champion, which is more than you'll ever be. And they're going to have a match later. Oba Femi's in the front row. Big lad that he is. Gunther then comes down to talk about who is best. And who is next. God, they're actually going to have Gunther versus Goldberg, aren't they? And apparently, and this is according to a friend of mine, Raw is in Atlanta in a couple weeks. By the way, the 27th, I'm going to be watching a mystery movie that day, so I will have a Raw review up at some point. I'm going to be working a whole lot of hours, so I'm going to do my best to provide Raw reviews. Probably not going to be reviewing SmackDown, though. So, Jay shows up, and Gunther says, I already beat you twice for the Intercontinental title. But if you want to face me at Saturday night's main event, fine. Third time will not be the charm. Jay then basically says, I respect you, and after I beat you, you will respect me. If they give Jay the world title, just abandon the company. Do not make Jay a goddamn world champion. Now, the best wrestler does not need to be a world champion, but you do not need somebody who is really fucking not that great in the ring. He's over. He moves a lot of merch. He gets reactions. So does an outbreak of chlamydia. But nevertheless, good grief, Lyra is lovely, is what I point out. She had a little video package. Dakota had a little video package. Cena doing a McDonald's ad, a McValue ad. That was funny to me. Lyra entrance with the wings and everything. Dakota comes out with a theme that I don't know how much thought they put into that theme, but more would have helped. So we basically we get to see the finals of the WWE Intercontinental Women's Tournament, which they need to find out a better, or they need to figure out a better format for the tournament. Instead of these 3 ways, just set up 8, or set up a bunch of women. Just bring a bunch of women up and have Maxine job in the first round, because that's really all she's good for. Just do something where you actually can have, maybe not a consistent tournament, but you have something, because these 3 ways that lead to other, I'm sorry, it's convoluted and messy. Lyra Valkyria against Dakota Kai for the Women's Intercontinental title. You know what? It was pretty good. It felt rushed. I really think that they probably could have added a couple more minutes to this goddamn thing, because again, they don't have a hard set run time. There was a suplex to the outside that looked brutal. I hope Dakota's all right, because God, that sounded bad. I mean, Lyra didn't land right either. But Lyra focuses on the back, stretching her. Nevertheless, we get a sit-out powerbomb for 2. We get an axe kick off the top. Lyra gets a 2 count there. And then we get a stomp in the ropes, which was a little bit rough. And then we got the GTK, the go to kick, or go to Kai, whatever. But Lyra rolls to the outside. And then soon after, we end up getting, a bump in the corner where it looks like, I don't know what she was trying to do, a neck breaker or something, but Lyra did some weird move. And then ended up hitting the Nightwing, 1, 2, 3. And Lyra is the new Intercontinental Champion. There were a lot of people that weren't happy about this. And look, you can be unhappy that your favorite didn't win. That's okay. Now, if Kai had won, I would have been disappointed because I wanted Lyra to win. But I would have understood why they went with Dakota. There was really it was not a lose-lose situation. It was a win-win. Have Kai eventually win it either at Mania or sometime after or whatever. She can get another shot. Now that they have a mid-card championship for the women, you can do that. Or you can have Kai and Io go for the tag titles. You can do something and keep them in the mix. And as long as Kai can stay injury-free, because that has been an issue for her. She's had knee injuries, before her, release. And then after she came back at SummerSlam 2021. I'm not knocking, just pointing out the facts. But if she can stay virtually, injury-free for a while, then why not have Lyra and, drop it to her at some point? But Lyra is the first champion. I'm all right with that. And then Miz took on Sammy, where Blue Thunderbomb won that. And then Sheamus and Steiner had a match. By the way, Sammy won, just in case. Because Miz pulling off a Blue Thunderbomb might spin the world off its axis permanently. Sheamus and Steiner an IC title match, and Gunther and Jay in a world title match. Rhea, my goodness, Rhea. She is back on top. I am not good. Anyway, Nia showed up. For whatever reason. Yes, I praised the Nia Naomi match. That's like the one thing you're going to get me to praise Nia on, because her promos ain't it. I'm going to paraphrase something that somebody said about, putting a microphone in front of Sable. Whoever put a microphone in front of Nia Jax should get 3 to 5 years. So, yeah, Bayley showed up because it's her hometown. She was actually in the front row originally. And then took a weird bump for Nia to oversell the fact that Nia can't work. Why did they keep pushing Nia? I don't know. And yes, this is probably to build to the fact that Nia is going to cost Bayley her match against Tiffany, because Nia wants to beat Tiffany and win her title back, but still. Next week is in Dallas. There will be no Von Erich jokes during the review. If you believe that, you have not paid attention to this channel. I will be able to shoulder them, unlike Mike. I'll be able to gut them out, unlike David, and I will keep both feet on the ground, unlike Carrie. And I'll keep my head attached, unlike Chris. Okay, bit harsh that. So, JBL will be there. Whatever. He's been in Impact doing stuff. So, like, 10 people have seen it. SmackDown is in San Diego. Priest and Balor had a street fight that I just didn't care about. I mean, I'm sorry. They already had a bunch of weapons in the goddamn ring. Finn jump-started. There were We Want Tables chants. They had a broken Falcon Arrow thing through the table. And then officials are checking on him. Balor's on a stretcher. And then we get, Carlito and JD attacking. And then the War Raiders show up and they fought off with the other Judgment Day guys. A chokeslam while Priest had a chair attached to his head. Got a 2 count. A stomp through a table. A barricade bump. A razor's edge through the table. I am not my brother's queefer. Don't know why he said that. And a chokeslam. 1, 2, 3. And that ends it after 2.5 hours. Yeah, there you go. Look, these Raw reviews will happen at least until after Mania. It's more accessible to just watch it on Netflix, even though, I do have a good cable satellite package, but my time reviewing weekly wrestling is coming to an end, guys. I could just fucking feel it. Because, despite the fact that I can go long and make jokes, it's getting to where there's not a lot of material for these. So, nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.